And I think we need this surprise and imagination to survive in this world, because life without imagination is nothing. And we're living in a crucial time of history that uh, we have very special problems in this time.
Good morning to the Netherlands. Where are you right now, Theo?
Well, at home,
And
so
where's your home?
my home is
Amsterdam?
in, no, it's in Scheveningen. So
Okay.
I live in an apartment next to the sea. So I'm looking over the sea right now.
Very nice place. A lot of Germans normally there.
Yeah,
No?
they are. Yes, in
Yeah.
fact, when I was young, I was living here as well, and so I came back where I grew up,
Mm.
and lots of Germans came to visit uh, family, because we were renting rooms like an Airbnb
Ah, okay.
in the 60s. So a lot of people in the Ruhrgebiet, they financed my youth, you could say.
Okay, so you don't have this negative idea about the Germans than some of the Dutch people have.
Not at all, not at all. No, they were
Okay.
very nice families, and they every year they came again and again, and they became really friends from us there in Scheveningen. Yeah.
Did you ever your constructions, your Strandbeests? Do you
Yeah.
ever did that in Scheveningen? Because normally it's very packed in summertime. Was there any chance that you could do it there?
Yes, well, I'm on a remote beach, which is just on the border between Scheveningen and Wassenaar, which is a very nice beach, and there's not too many people there.
Mm.
And but coincidentally, this summer there was a beach animal escaped, and it walked here in Scheveningen. But
Wow.
it was quite windy, so there were not too many people on the beach, and so it walked all the way to the harbor here. Yeah.
See, you, I read your CV and your biography, and it's very interesting because, but first of all, you look great. I mean, you're not that young anymore, and you look great. It's a hard time for everyone, and you look fantastic. So you like you give hope that you can become old and really looking really healthy and being active, whatever. So many old people here in Spain are now closed up in their residencies or in their houses, and with the pandemic.
Yeah.
And yeah, you still seem to be so active, and yeah, it's great. And I read that you studied physics, and but
Yes.
you never finished it
No.
because it was too complicated, or you didn't want to finish, or
Well, I was not too much motivated anymore. Not, I like physics. I still like physics, but I was so much distracted in that time that I was painting a lot myself, and so there was a day that I decided to become a painter. It
so
was the hippie time. Yeah.
there is I can imagine there is a conflict being a scientist or an artist. You probably
Yeah.
can't be both. I mean, Leonardo da Vinci, he
Yeah.
was both, but in nowadays you hardly see that, right?
Yeah, but that's because of the institutions,
Yeah.
because people are paid to be an artist or a scientist, and as soon as you're uh, paid to be specialized in something, then you start believing that you are something. But I think that
That's true, yeah.
uh, that when you look at an engineer, there are a lot more artists than they want to know, and the same with artists. I mean, they. I think we are all quite universal, and we are not that specialized as we think we are. But of course, the society, it demands from us that we specialize ourselves. But in fact, when I'm working here on the beach and in the rain, and I feel more like an Eskimo living 10,000 years ago and trying to survive, have technical improvements on my canoe or my kajak, and but also have art. I mean, Eskimos make little sculptures, usually with a religious background. So so they don't know what a museum is, and they don't know what a university is, and still they do those things. And originally, artists and engineers are the Eskimos, and I feel more like an Eskimo than an artist.
You mean like an aborigine somehow, like a person close to nature. And what do you mean with Eskimo? You mean that someone very much related to his environment?
Yes, that's what I mean. So, in a society where there are no institutions yet, that's what we originally are, and I want to feel like that.
Are you an anarchist somehow, or because you're talking a lot about institutions and you would prefer
Now,
probably,
of course, we couldn't do without institutions.
yeah,
So it's good that we have a government, and we that some people take the leadership of our society and take care of us. And
yeah,
so it's good, of course. But we must remember that we're from a society uh, like a tribe, and uh, and in fact, that's something I think as a big privilege of my private that I can work on that beach and realize where we came from. And every day I'm surprised that I exist and that I landed in this body of an ape. We're all apes, aren't we? And it's
crazy ones.
yeah, so it's such a miracle that that we exist. And every day, I realize this. It's mean, and of course, I have moments like everybody else that our agendas, our daily schedules, taken over this miracle, and everything becomes very normal. But we need these moments of surprise and reflection that we realize what in such a miracle we are living. We don't need religion to have more miracles. It's a miracle enough already. And I want to say something more, but just this.
Yeah, yeah,
Are
the
you,
noise, the noise. Are you living right now in a lockdown in the Netherlands, or?
they call it an intelligent lockdown, so people must do it themselves. That's
Very Dutch, yeah, very liberal.
and well, it's trying to get a positive way, and but well, you could have interested it. I think that a positive effect of the pandemic is that we're forced to reflect a little more because we were so spoiled in that world, and of course we were happy, but it was a kind of superficial happiness, and I think a lot of people are more reflecting now. This, of course, there are a lot of negative things. So many people sick and dying, but this is a positive effect, I think, of the pandemic. Well, I'm not the only one who says that. Everybody says that this is the positive
Are
effect
you
of.
working right now? And where do you work normally? On the beach?
In the summer, I work on the beach. So I have a container on the beach. It's a few kilometers north of Scheveningen. And then I do the whole summer, I do experiments. And every summer, I become a little bit wiser how these animals should survive in the future, how they can fight the sand and the storms. And then I declare the animal extinct, boneyard.
You're really like really crazy.
I am crazy. Yes, I know, but I'm so happy being crazy.
How many? That's you. I'm the same, but it's yeah. That's why I like this time right now because it's a crazy time. But I don't feel so torn about it or like other people because I was always a little bit like this, out of the box and
Yeah.
rebel, and so. But yeah, people that are very small-minded, they have a problem right now.
Mhm.
I was wondering, where are your animals right now? They are in a stable, or where are they?
Yeah, what a part of it was is just arrived in Japan.
Wow.
It was in Mexico, but the museum had to close, and it went on a boat to Japan. Hopefully, it's going to open in April next year, and a part of it is in a stable here
Hmm.
in The Hague, and a part of it's on my studio in Ippenberg, which is an outdoor studio. So they're standing outside. Yeah.
And how do you? I mean, so many artists right now they struggle. I mean, artists always struggle with survival.
Hmm.
Um, in the pandemic, and how can you fund all the infrastructure that you have?
Yeah.
I mean, how can you finance it?
Well, normally I finance this with these exhibitions.
Hmm.
So there are two traveling exhibitions over the world, and lots of visitors are coming. So, in fact, I was a very fortunate artist that the money was streaming in, and it
Wow.
was really very
And you
good.
saved. It's a good touch for Dutch person. You saved the money.
Yeah. So I saved the money, and so I have enough money on my bank account uh, to withstand this pandemic. But of course, this must not last very much longer because then I will be bankrupt, I guess. Yeah.
But
So,
that's yeah, it's
so
a good
the next
advice from you.
exhibition will be in Japan, and a year later in the United States. It's we have a tour in the United States in 22. Yeah, 22. And but in the meantime, I hope I can still stand up and pay all the rent of the storage
Yeah.
and
Is there these animals are fantasy animals, right?
mhm.
They don't exist, or like are they? You have like a blueprint, or I understood they are fantasy animals. It's not
But
like
yeah, they're not based on existing animals.
yeah.
That's true. So I don't want. In fact, I want to forget everything what I know about real animals. Uh, and that's because I don't want to imitate what's there. I really want to have a new evolution. So I try to be blank for all the experiences on the beach, and then I try to adjust everything to the circumstances on the beach. So there will be special animals which are evolved, so evolutionary process on the beach, so they can only live on the beach.
Hmm. And how in what way did was your work influenced by the fact that you are Dutch? I mean, Dutch people are very in their whole history, Dutch history, they were always like big inventors and salesmen, sailing. I'm talking about sailing, wind, using the wind. Did that influence your work? I mean, that you worked because you work with wind somehow, and the way you make these animals move with the wind on the beach. Has it to do with your Dutch origin as well? Or?
Well, I don't know if it's really Dutch, but I was born here
Yeah.
almost on the beach. So my parents had the opportunity to get a house on near the beach, which is in those days was not that
Yeah.
fancy. It was
Yeah.
just and anyway, we by coincidence we landed. My family landed here on the beach, and so my first experiences of life was the clouds and the sea and the sand and the space,
Yeah.
and that of course this influenced my impression of the world, and it influenced my way of thinking. And so it's if that is you could call Dutch. Well, I think you could also, the Englishmen are also sailors, and
Yeah.
so it. I don't know if you can,
Yeah.
and I don't like to categorize
Stereotypes. Yeah.
people into
Yeah.
Dutch or
Yeah.
German, or
Yeah. That's
we're
very good.
all living
Yeah.
in a globe, right? So it's
Yeah. Yeah.
uh,
Yeah. More than ever. More than ever. This year
yeah,
we start talking about the planet all the
yeah,
time.
yeah,
You are working with plastic.
yeah.
Your constructions are done out of plastic. Does it have to do, is there any ideology behind it? I mean, you are fighting against climate change, or
Hmm.
where do you get the plastic from?
Well, the plastic tubes are used here in Holland for electric cables in houses. So I think in Germany, graue
Yeah.
Rohren. And so, but we in Holland, we have the color of cheese of the tubes, and somehow they seem to to adjust to the visual environment of a beach. Somehow, for
Mhm.
me, it's a very beautiful uh, kind of tube,
Yeah.
and of course the disadvantage is that it's a very unfriendly material for the environment. So you must be very careful with the tubes, and so don't let the animals walk into the sea that they drown, or so. And all the small parts, they go to the plastic reusing, yeah. And it's the advantage of this kind of plastic is that it can withstand all the circumstances, like the rain and the sun and the wind. So I think for metal, these animals, they would just rust.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah, of course. Of course.
for these animals and animals on the beach, PVC is one of the best. I would call it my protein. So it's the basic material for life is protein. You can make skin with protein, eyes with protein, and I want to use this kind of tube as my protein, my eyewise.
But there's no ideology behind it. You don't want to say something with this animals. Like it's art, and everyone can interpret it like he
Well,
like he wants to. Or is there anything more behind it?
Well, the thing is that I was just explaining about my joy of life, that I'm surprised of life, and I have this imagination. And I think, I hope that people join me in that they, uh, once they see my animals, they can feel that same surprise which I have about life. And I think we need this surprise and imagination to survive in this world, because life without imagination is nothing. And we're living in a crucial time of history that uh, we have very special problems in this time, and we cannot face these problems without imagination. I mean, we really have um, to also, it's also something to motivate us. Why are we trying to save the world? I mean, it's just to make all this trip to all these summer vacations, this mass tourism. No, we must realize why we are living on Earth. And I don't want to be religious, or it's just if people can see the miracle where we're living in, and to motivate us to treasure that miracle.
That's fantastic. We should stop here. That's really good. Yeah,
Okay.
that's yeah, it's good to hear. So you're not afraid right now with the situation.
Well,
You
what can happen? I'm
yeah,
72, so I had my life already. But for young people, of course, they should be motivated.
to change the world.
Yes, and to realize where you're doing it for.
Do you have children, or who's going to inherit your work and probably continue? Is there someone who could continue doing Strandbeest?
Well, there, I have three children, and there, and I have a wife, and she's well 7 years younger than I am, so she can still do something. And they, my son-in-law, he's really helping me very much every day, and
Good.
and my other children, they are very good in explaining about my work on exhibitions. So they might do I think the Strandbeat could go on after I've left the planet. Yeah.
Okay, great. So when will you be in? Will you come to Spain? One to our beaches here in Spain, or you ever have been to Spain with your Strandbeest?
Yes, well, many times. In Spain was, in fact, one of my favorites. Favorite countries because I had in the Reina Sofia Museum had an
Mhm.
exhibition, and also another place in Telefonica had a big gallery in actually became 130,000 people came to the exhibition in
Cool.
Madrid. Yeah,
Yeah,
Barcelona. Yes, I've been many times in Spain, and I love Spain. It's really
yeah. You have
nice.
a lot of
Yes,
beaches here.
yes, I know. Yeah,
Yeah.
Santander Beach was a very nice beach. I have the animals walking there, and it was really very nice. Yeah.
Normally now, right now, that tourism is so reduced, it should be a good time to make them around the Strandbeest because there are no tourists.
Yes. Yeah. Great time.
Okay. Theo, thank you very much for giving us a little insight in your creative work. It's nice to see that this is not getting lost with age, this imagination. We always think like we just can be creative as children or imagine things as children, but that you have the courage to keep that inside, and not feeling ridiculous about it, because many people when they grow up think it's ridiculous to think about fantasy world and stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I cannot do anything else. Yeah.
Great. Thank you very much and have a
Okay,
great
Stephanie.
weekend. Bye
It
bye.
was very
Okay.
nice talking with you. Bye
Thank
bye.
you. Bye bye.